name's Sharon, and I'm from Brooklyn Center.
Did you know that as a resident of Brooklyn Center, you have an all-access pass to Northwest Community Television? You can produce your own show or help other residents create theirs.
What I like about Northwest Community Television, it's a community where I can produce my own craft shows and kids programs, as well as helping others with their shows.
Ready to produce your own TV show? Visit nwct.org. Get your all-access pass today.
This is going to be for the first show. There. So this is ready. Okay. We're going to recycle, reuse, and make something old into something new. Yep. My name is Sharon Kephart, and this is Angel, and our show is Auntie Sharon's Crafts and More. Okay, girl, are you ready? I want my viewers to look at things differently, and that's what I try to do, is I look around the house and I'll walk around and say, oh, I could use that in one of my crafts. My show is on Channel 20. It plays on Thursday nights, 7 to 8 p.m. It plays at 3 o'clock in the morning for those that are up that early, and also from 11 to noon on Friday morning.
Hi, I'm Ashley from Kids for a Better World, a nonprofit organization encouraging the empowerment of youth, supporting youth initiatives, and creating partnerships to address the needs of individuals, children, and families. Be the change.
Be the change and make your action get involved. Be the change and make your action get involved.
Hi, I'm Auntie Sharon, and this is my new show, Come Join Me on My Comeback Journey. Now, on January 6th, I had a traumatic brain injury with a fall, and I'm still suffering with a lot of the symptoms of it. I've gotten better with a lot of the things like the headaches and stuff, but I have issues with thought processes and with the words, finding the words. They leave me, and I get confused a little bit sometimes. But the reason I did this show is because I wanted you to see what it was like for someone who had a traumatic brain injury. So nothing is edited. This whole show is what you see is what you get. So if I make a blunder, which I will, if I say the wrong word, which I will, it will be there for you to see the struggles that I go through and that I'm still going through. I invited my audience to participate in walking with me on this journey and hoping that maybe I could help touch someone out there that maybe might be going through some similar things. You don't have to have a traumatic brain injury to maybe be experiencing some of the same things that I've been experiencing. But we can do this together. We'll help each other. And families, the family unit, the supportive family unit is an important piece in our journeys because they're also going through this journey with us. I received emails and which you can email me. My crew will put that up on the bottom there so you can see that you can email me with your comments and maybe what you're going through. And I also have a viewer response line that you can call and leave a message too, and that will get to me. But I've invited my audience to participate with me, and I have another guest today. I'm so excited because this guest has been watching me for 4 years now, I think, on my craft show. And so the reason I decided to do this show is because I didn't feel quite ready to get in front of the camera to do my craft show yet. So this was one way to kind of ease myself back into that. So without further ado, I want to, now there, I lost my word. It's not invite, I'm thinking, there's another word that I'm looking for. I want to introduce my guest to you. And Val, thank you for coming to my show.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
And this is Val's first time being in front of a camera?
Yeah, I'm pretty terrified, but we'll get through it. So,
well,
with humor.
That's right, humor. Yeah. We talked about how humor was important in that, and you got to be able to laugh at yourself, make mistakes and stuff. And this show is unedited.
Yeah.
So we're going to be really real with you out there. And I know when I started this show, I was scared to death of what people would think of the show.
Yeah.
Well, I just so much appreciate you sent me emails and sent me some cards and that, and you saw some of my previous shows, and your words were so encouraging to me.
Thank you.
And also too, you said something about how even though you don't have a traumatic brain injury or no one in your family has a traumatic brain injury, your family still is struggling with some of the same things and issues.
Right.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. I have a child he's 30 years old. His name is John. And at the age of 5.5, right in the middle of his kindergarten year, he completely lost all his language abilities. Up to that point of about 5.5 years, he developed normally, spoke normally, did all the things normal kids do. And within about a period of a week, he couldn't talk anymore. Something triggered in his brain. We're still not sure exactly what happened, even after all the many tests that he had and everything, doctor's visits and everything, which you're acquainted with, of course. So we had to deal with that, with trying to find out what had happened, with trying to get some of his language abilities back, with getting a diagnosis for him, which of course is important to get any kinds of services and any kind of help. And it took the doctors some while to even just agree what was wrong, but they came up with what they called atypical autism, which is obviously most autism comes on for most kids. They figure it out that it's between maybe 18 months and 3 years. Something seems different. With John, he was already in kindergarten. So he is 30 now, and we've had a lot of ups and downs, a lot of, it's affected everyone in our family, our extended family, friends, people at our church that knew John before the problems, and then, how John has been after. And so the things that you had talked about on some of your previous shows about how people perceive you differently now that you've gotten your brain injury, sometimes your words don't come, and so some of your relationships with people have been altered by what happened, and that kind of has happened with me over the years with, I guess I would say, times that I have to translate what John is doing to other people, things that they might not understand why he's doing what he's doing. I have to translate. I guess that's what I would call it. I'm the translator for him. And there's a struggle at times when I become his translator because people judge you. They either think, oh, she's being too strict with him. She's not being strict enough. And, oftentimes they really don't know the whole situation, as they don't know your whole situation. When you go out in public, not everybody knows you. Not everybody knows your story and about your injury and your brain, how you have brain struggles now.
Right.
So I think that was why I was so appreciative that you were willing to be brave and to put yourself on, public TV access and share your story about your injury and how it's affected you and how it's affected your family. Although John doesn't have traumatic brain injury, he does have a severe form of autism. And almost a year ago, he also had a seizure.
Oh.
And the seizure, we don't know what caused the seizure either, but that made his autism more severe.
Oh, sure.
So that he's kind of regressed backwards a little bit. And so just like you are on your comeback journey, I think of he's on his comeback journey in a way. So I find it really brave of you to have this show and to reach out to other people that might be going through, if not brain injury, then other, things like my family has gone through. It's helpful.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you so much for saying those words, because when I first started this, I was nervous about how it would be perceived, and I wasn't sure if people would, appreciate the fact of what I was doing or trying to do, or maybe think that it was stupid of me to do that. That's kind of what I was, was feeling
or
at the time.
judge you that, that they might think, oh, who does she think she is doing this? Everybody has problems. Because I've gotten that line a few times too. Well, we all have our cross to bear, or we all have our problem. And I don't think it's that you think your problem is worse than anyone's, or my problem is worse than anyone's. It's not. It's that we all have a journey, and we shouldn't be competing with each other on our journey. We should be supporting and trying to understand, where the person is coming from. What is it that makes that person tick? Why are they doing it? That's not judging. That's just, to me, that's being helpful. That's being supportive. So
and when I'm out there in the public, I look normal, or what they call normal, to society. So they, people don't know until they engage with me, and then if they don't know me and they engage with me, I get the feeling, or you can tell by the look on their faces and stuff. It's like, what's wrong with her? It's because I'm trying to form the words, and I heard somebody whisper to someone, "Is she mentally retarded?"
Oh,
because but that's the way people are naive to know what's going on, but they don't understand. They don't know me. And so, even though you can't see the injury on me.
Which makes it harder for people to relate, I think.
True.
When there are people that have the outward physical injuries, their bone is broken, they have a cast, or, they need to use a cane for something, or a walker, or any of those kinds of things. I think people are a little more fast to accept it, but when it's something that isn't quite as visible, like autism is not really visible. Sometimes people can look at the child or adult with autism and say, well, there's something about their eyes that's a little different, or they don't quite look right. But a lot of times when I'm out in public, I do get those snap judgments from people. And this is over a period of, I will say, 25 years that I've been doing this, being John's care provider, along with my husband. And society has changed its opinions of autism over the years. They're not quite as naive as they used to be about it.
That's good.
Which is good, but you still get the people that seem to want you to fix it. Just fix it quickly.
Right.
Fix the problem, make it nice and tidy, and you're in a situation where things don't tie up nicely and neatly with a little bow, and I'm in the same situation. My situation isn't tying up neatly and quickly in a little bow, and it won't,
Right.
So I think it's just learning to adapt, and like you're doing, educating people and helping people become more supportive and helping them realize they're not alone in their you know, in their situation, whatever their situation may be.
Right.
So, and maybe I would just urge people to be patient, that we are all on a journey.
right.
We all have something that we're dealing with on a daily basis, whether it's visible immediately to other people, you know, or whether it's not. It's still something, and we need to be patient. If you're out driving, be patient with other drivers. You know, just
That's right.
in your daily life, be more kind, be more
That's
patient,
right,
you
yeah.
know.
Boy,
That's what-
she's got the word. She knows.
That's-
That's right.
Bottled up there. But yeah, I think
Yeah.
I
Those
just
are
like,
great
I
words.
like to advocate for people just taking a breath and calming down. Americans, we have many good qualities, but I think we tend to be an impatient society, and I believe we're
True.
getting less patient.
Yeah. I hope so. Yeah, I hope
Yeah,
so.
I mean, we're getting less patient, but I hope, you know, with time that people will become more patient with themselves and with others. So,
Right.
yeah.
And the whole thing about the journey, the word, the journey that I use here is it's part of our life. Our whole life is a journey, and we're never going to be just there. We're not going to get there. It's always going to be something new, something challenging, something around the corner and stuff like that. And I like the word journey because it talks about that it's a progression. It's a constant moving. It's a constant going and stuff. And you may come up to a barrier. And that's what I kind of look at this traumatic brain injury that I had as it was just like a log in the road, and I have to find a way around it, and I might have to do things differently to be able to get around it. I might not be able to step right over it. I might have to clear away a little path or something. So, and that's what I look at my this whole journey as. It takes time. Brain injuries, they
Take
it's
a
a
lot of
mystery.
time.
It's
And
a
it takes
mystery.
time. It takes time
Yeah.
to figure it out for the brain to heal.
Right.
With my son, with his seizure, the doctors did all kinds of tests on him, and they don't know what caused the seizure. So for that reason, I'm trying to be more patient with him, as he's been a little more difficult for the caregiving the last year, both for me and my husband, as well as the day program that he's at has had a little more problems with him, you know, getting him to focus. And so we're all trying to be more patient so that he can have that courage to go on himself and, you know that people love him just how he is, which we all need. So.
Well, I can tell you're so supportive and good for your son, and that even though you do have frustrations at time with them, and you
sure.
understand that and know that, it's the support that you're giving him it's wonderful, and I know he probably feels that support. And we want that. Everybody wants that kind of support. And with your son, is he visibly autistic? Can you tell?
You know, he has, I always say there's a different look about his eyes, where he's a little more vacant, maybe just in his eyes. But he's actually very intelligent in a lot of ways too. He's learned to adapt, to do other things to make up for the things he's not comfortable with doing, which I would imagine that you've had to do some of that as well with your TBI, that you've had to say, well, this isn't easy for me, but maybe I can make this adaptation and do this way, or just skip doing that at all and do something different.
So does your son, I'm sure he feels a lot of frustrations too
Oh, yes.
in the communicating and getting, trying to
The
get
not
things
getting
out.
his words,
Yeah.
because when he did lose almost all his language when he was 5, and so he's 30 now, which so 25 years later he's gotten quite a bit of words back, but you can't really have a conversation with him.
Okay.
As such, he can tell you like when he's hungry, what he wants to eat, if he wants to go out for a walk, if he wants to go in the car somewhere, that kind of thing. But if people were to come, like a stranger on the street or something, and say, hey, young man, you know, you're in my way, can you move? You know, he would be totally, he wouldn't be able to respond to the person
Right.
in what we would think of like it's an appropriate manner, so.
Right. Society has a certain way of looking at things and a certain way of thinking about stuff. And if we are not part of that norm, if we don't look as normal as they are used to, society is
Right.
used to, they don't know what to do with us in the stuff either. So it's like they
Yeah.
think that either you're acting out or either there's something wrong with you or whatever. They don't realize what's really going on. And so that's why this show is so important, because I'm sure there's other people out there that also might be feeling some of the same things, that either you had some issues and you're the person that's struggling, or you're the person caretaking and you're having struggles in that. So it's helping each other and being patient, like you said, and being supportive and helping each other, that we can be who we are and we don't have to hide.
Right.
And we can go out there and feel we can be part of society and still feel good about what we can do and
Yeah,
can
right.
accomplish.
What we can do instead of what we can't do, because you know, that's something I work on with my son, is there's many things he will never be very comfortable doing, but there's also many things he's good at. He can actually read, which is I think a really great skill for many autistic people aren't able to read, and
Oh, wow.
and so I'm
Did
very
not know
proud
that.
that he's able to do that, you know, for himself. He can ride a bike, you know, he's got good motor skills, he can ice skate, and so I do try to, you know, sometimes I get a little depressed or a little sad, and I think, oh, he'll never be able to do this, or he'll never be able to do that, and I get a little down and blue about it, but then I think of the things he can do still,
That's right.
that he's very good at and that he does still enjoy. So, you know, even as simple as playing a game of memory, or watching a TV show and laughing at the bad jokes in it, you know.
That's
So
right.
yeah, it's just remembering to focus on the positive. Do you think
right.
that helps you too?
Yes.
In the daily battles, that just focus on the things that
Right.
are easy and that are more fun to do, that you're.
Yes, I do. I think that I try to surround myself with things that make me feel
Right.
relaxed, comfortable, good, and supported, and I try to focus on what I can do now instead of what I can't. Although I am frustrated at times,
Yeah.
you know, and it shows sometimes. I still keep going, and I keep looking at, well, I'm just following a journey. I don't know where it's going to take me. It's a new journey. It's a journey that I've never been on before. So of course there's no way of knowing where that journey is going. And I don't ever believe we ever get to wherever.
Right. There's not a certain set point out there where that's the end and
Yeah.
you can't make any more progress. So.
That's right. So I know we're getting close to our end of our show. Boy, it goes by so
Yeah.
fast. And I thank you for being on my show. Would you like to come? I think what we should do is do a part 2. What do you think?
Okay, that sounds great.
Because I would like to do something really special. How about if we wrap this show up and we're going to have a part 2, and I've got something really special I want to do with Val here. So is there any last words? You got a couple of minutes if you want to share any last thoughts with our audience?
Well, I think like Sharon was saying, that it's important to keep surrounding ourselves with things that make us more comfortable and calm, and I have a feeling Sharon may have something planned out for that for a future show, a craft coming up.
Maybe.
But, you know, do the things that keep you healthy. For those of you out there that are caregiving for people that may have autism or other kinds of disabilities, do things for yourself. I would say to listen to music, go for walks, exercise, eat healthy, all the things that
She's got it.
keep you well and keep you going, because we tend as caregivers to focus on the person that we're taking care of, and sometimes we let ourselves get unhealthy, and
Right.
that leads to depression and other issues. So
That's
yeah,
right.
so I'll advocate for that and
Okay.
look forward to the future show
Great.
with Sharon.
Yeah.
So
Boy, she's got the great, she got it right on in that. It's very important. It's not just about the person that has the traumatic brain injury or the autism, or it's not just that person. It's the caregivers, it's the family, it's the friends. You guys are on that journey with us too. And you got to take care of yourself too. So all of us need to take care of ourselves. So with that, we are going to close out our show, and I'm going to show you my little thing that I always do. So actually I want camera 2 back on real quick, and we're going to do this together. I always do this when I close out my show. I say, I'm giving you my heart from me to you. And so we're going to close our show, and we'll be back shortly here. Well, for you, it'll be a week later, but for us, it'll be just in a few minutes. And come back next week, and you're going to have a fun time on our show. So from me to you, I give you my heart. Bye now.
I'm Ben Utek. I played high school, college, and pro football, helping my team win the 2006 championship. My career ended after I suffered my 5th concussion. More than 1 million athletes suffer a concussion each year. The American Academy of Neurology recommends athletes thought to have a concussion be immediately removed from play and assessed by a healthcare professional trained in concussion. This isn't just about sports. It's about your brain. When in doubt, sit it out. A message from the American Academy of Neurology.
Sharing your passion starts with taking that first step. Take Will, for example. His first step was taking free TV classes at Northwest Community Television. He's learning production skills and now has access to cutting-edge equipment. He's working on local music productions, meeting new people, and gaining experience needed to produce his own show. Best of all, he's sharing his passion for music with others in his community. Share your passion. Visit nwct.org.
I'm Sharon, and I'm from Brooklyn Center.
Did you know that as a resident of Brooklyn Center, you have an all-access pass to Northwest Community Television? You can produce your own show or help other residents create theirs.
What I like about Northwest Community Television, it's a community where I can produce my own craft shows and kids programs, as well as helping others with their shows.
Ready to produce your own TV show? Visit nwct.org. Get your all-access pass today.
Hi, I'm Ashley from Kids for a Better World, a nonprofit organization encouraging the empowerment of youth, supporting youth initiatives, and creating partnerships to address the needs of individuals, children, and families. Be the change.
Be the change and make your children get involved. Be the change and make your children get involved.
By taking free TV classes at CCX Create, Mark is helping bring entertainment and information to his community, along with building a foundation of skills that will take him one step closer to his dreams. Share your passion. Visit ccxmedia.org.